Equality is a lie. It is a comforting, seductive lie told to the weak to keep them from revolting and to the strong to keep them feeling guilty. But in the cold, hard reality of biology, equality does not exist. It has never existed, and it never will exist. From the moment complex life emerged on this planet, long before humans, long before mammals, even long before dinosaurs, life organized itself into hierarchies. Whether you are looking at a colony of ants, a pack of wolves, a troop of chimpanzees, or a boardroom of Silicon Valley executives, the structure is identical. There is a top and there is a bottom. There is the alpha and there is the omega. There is the one who eats first and there is the one who eats the scraps. You are currently standing somewhere on this social ladder, and your position on that ladder is the single most important factor in your quality of life. It determines how much money you make, how much stress you feel, how often you get sick, and how attractive you are to the opposite sex. Most men try to ignore the hierarchy. They say, "I don't play those games." But here is the brutal truth. If you are not playing the game, you are losing the game. The hierarchy is not an option. It is the substrate of your existence. We are here to stop the denial. We are here to analyze the mechanics of the ladder and give you the tools to climb. Because at the bottom, there is only misery. At the top, there is freedom. Let's look at the biology of the ladder. Why does the hierarchy exist? Because resources are limited. There isn't enough prime territory, enough high-quality food, or enough elite mates for everyone. Society needs a way to distribute these resources without a constant, lethal war. The solution is the dominance hierarchy. It is a system of rank that allows individuals to know where they stand. When two men meet, their brains perform a subconscious calculation. Can I take him? Is he more competent than me? Is he more dangerous than me? Once the rank is established, the conflict ends. The lower-ranking male submits, and the higher-ranking male takes the resource. This calculation is controlled by a neurochemical called serotonin. Most people think serotonin is just a happy chemical. It isn't. Serotonin is a status regulator. It is the brain's internal accountant that tracks your position in the hierarchy. When you win, when you close a deal, when you win a fight, when you get a promotion, your serotonin spikes. This causes you to stand taller, look people in the eye, and feel a sense of calm confidence. You become expensive to attack. When you lose, when you are rejected, when you fail, when you are insulted, your serotonin drops. This causes you to slump your shoulders, avoid eye contact, and feel a sense of chronic anxiety. You become cheap to abuse. This is the serotonin trap. The higher you go, the more serotonin you have, which makes it easier to keep winning. The lower you go, the less serotonin you have, which makes you more likely to keep losing. The hierarchy is a self-reinforcing machine. If you're at the bottom, your own brain is working against you. It is putting you in defensive mode, making you hyper-reactive to stress, and destroying your ability to take risks. To climb, you must first hack your own chemistry. You must act like you are higher on the ladder than you are, to trigger the serotonin that will eventually make the rank real. We need to discuss the cost of low status. Being at the bottom of a hierarchy is not just sad, it is lethal. The Whitehall studies, a famous long-term study of British civil servants, proved this. They followed thousands of workers for decades. They expected to find that the bosses, the ones with the most responsibility, had the most stress and the most heart attacks. They found the exact opposite. The people at the bottom of the hierarchy had the highest levels of stress, the highest rates of heart disease, and died the youngest. The bosses were the healthiest. Why? Because stress is not caused by responsibility. Stress is caused by lack of control. When you are at the top, you have agency. You decide what happens. When you're at the bottom, you are a victim of the decisions of others. You are constantly on edge, waiting for the next blow to land. Your body is in a state of permanent red alert. This chronic stress floods your system with cortisol. Cortisol is a slow poison. It dissolves your muscles. It shrinks your hippocampus, where memory lives. It suppresses your immune system, and it shuts down your reproductive system. Being a nice guy at the bottom of a hierarchy is a slow-motion suicide. Nature is trying to prune you. Nature says, this individual is low value. He is not contributing. He is just consuming resources. Let's stress him out until his heart stops so he can make room for someone more competent. This is the primal logic of the universe. If you want to live, you must climb. Let's talk about the competence hierarchy. In a functioning society, the dominance hierarchy is actually a competence hierarchy. The person at the top is the one who provides the most value. The best hunter became the leader of the tribe. The best engineer becomes the CTO. The best storyteller becomes the movie star. This is the ideal state, but we know that hierarchies can become corrupt. When a hierarchy stops rewarding competence and starts rewarding politics, nepotism, or submission, it becomes a tyranny. Many of you are stuck in corrupt hierarchies. You are working in a company where the boss is an idiot who got the job because he's friends with the owner. You are playing a game that is rigged against you. The mistake men make is trying to climb a corrupt ladder. They think if they play the game and suck up to the tyrant, they will win. They won't. They will just become a high-ranking slave. The apex strategy is to identify the ladder. If the ladder you are on is corrupt, do not climb it. Build your own. This is the essence of the digital revolution. The internet allows you to bypass the traditional, corrupt hierarchies of the office and the corporation. You can create your own hierarchy where you are at the top, and your rank is determined by the market's response to your value. This is what the Protocol 260 is for. It is a ladder building kit. It gives you the tools to exit the corrupt hierarchies of the 20th century and build a sovereign hierarchy where your serotonin is tied to your own results, not a boss's mood. Let's analyze the signs of rank. How do you know where you stand, and how do you signal a higher rank? Hierarchy is communicated through body language and tonality. Low rank signals. Fidgeting signals anxiety, nervousness. High-pitched fast speech signals a desire to not take up too much time. Avoiding eye contact signals submission. Touching the face or neck, self-soothing under pressure. Slumped posture, making oneself a smaller target. High rank signals. Stillness signals confidence and lack of threat. Slow, deep speech with pauses signals that my time is valuable and you will wait. Steady eye contact signals assessment and lack of fear. Taking up space, expanding the chest, spreading the arms. The power of the no, willingness to disagree. If you want to climb, you must start adopting high-rank signals today. Even if you feel like a loser, you must stand like a victor. This is not faking it. This is biofeedback. When you stand tall and take up space, your brain sees your body's posture and says, "Oh, we are standing like a winner. I better produce some serotonin to match." You can literally trick your brain into a higher status state. And once the chemistry changes, your behavior changes. You become more assertive. You take more risks. And those risks lead to wins. And those wins lead to real status. It is a positive feedback loop. The ladder starts in your spine. We have to discuss the alpha fallacy. People think being at the top means being a bully. They think it means being the loudest, most aggressive person in the room. This is a beta misunderstanding of power. A bully is someone who uses aggression to hide their own insecurity. They are constantly testing people because they are afraid of losing their spot. A true high-rank male, the apex, is often the most relaxed person in the room. He doesn't need to shout. He doesn't need to dominate every conversation. He has authority. Authority is power that is recognized as legitimate. He leads through responsibility and protection. In a troop of chimpanzees, the best alphas are not the most violent. They are the most pro-social. They share food. They break up fights. They protect the weak. Because they do these things, the rest of the troop wants them to be at the top. They have consent of the governed. If you want to climb the ladder and stay there, you must become a leader of men. You must provide value to those below you. If you are just a tyrant, the people below you will eventually unite to pull you down. True dominance is built on utility. Are you useful? If the answer is no, you have no business being at the top. Let's look at the hierarchy of networks. In the modern world, your rank is not just you. It is the sum of your connections. Who do you know? Who knows you? If you are at the bottom of a low-value hierarchy, a group of losers, you are a loser. If you are at the bottom of a high-value hierarchy, a group of billionaires, you are still a winner compared to the rest of the world. The fastest way to climb the ladder is to change the ladder. You need to audit your social circle. If your friends are content with mediocrity, they are an anchor. They are pulling your serotonin down. You need to find a way into a superior hierarchy. You need to be around people who make you feel low rank, not to depress you, but to inspire you. You want to be the dumbest person in the room, because in that room, the standard of competence is so high that just by trying to keep up, you will evolve. You will absorb their body language, their speech patterns, and their risk tolerance. You will level up through social osmosis. Finally, we must address the ambition gap. Most men are afraid of the top. They are afraid of the responsibility. They are afraid of the target on their back. They say, "I just want a simple life. I don't need to be the boss." This is a lie told by the freeze response. There is no simple life. Life is a struggle for resources until the day you die. If you choose to stay at the bottom, you are choosing chronic stress, poor health, and a lack of options. You are choosing to let other men decide the fate of your children. Is that simple, or is it negligent? Ambition is not a sin. Ambition is a duty. You have a biological obligation to climb as high as your talent and your work will take you, not for the ego, but for the security. The view from the top is better, not not because of the scenery, but because you can see the threats coming and you have the resources to deal with them. So here is your reality check. Look at your life, look at your posture, look at your bank account. Where are you on the ladder? If you are not happy with the answer, good. Let that dissatisfaction turn into aggression. Stop complaining about the system. The system is just a collection of hierarchies. Learn the rules, play the game, or build your own. In the next part, we're going to talk about the 4 steps of ascension, how to enter a new hierarchy, how to establish your initial rank, and how to move up without triggering a coup from the others. We are going to give you the climber's manual. We have established the biological reality. The hierarchy is the invisible architecture of your life. You are either climbing or you are sliding. There is no standing still because the ladder is always moving. But how do you actually move up? Most men make one of 2 fatal mistakes when entering a new social or professional hierarchy. Error number 1, the false humility. They enter at the very bottom and act like a servant. They apologize for their existence, they do all the grunt work without credit, and they wait to be noticed. They think this shows they are a team player. In reality, they are training the group to see them as a low-status tool. Once you are labeled a tool, it is almost impossible to be seen as a leader. Error number 1, the premature challenge. They enter and immediately try to dominate the alpha. They talk too much, they criticize the existing system, and they try to show off. This triggers the group's immune system. The existing hierarchy unites to crush the newcomer. The apex predator uses a more sophisticated approach. He understands that ascension is a calculated seed. Here are the 4 steps of ascension. Step 1, observation and calibration, the infiltration. When you enter a new hierarchy, a new job, a new social circle, a new industry, your first job is to shut up and listen. You are gathering intel. You need to map the power structure. Who is the formal leader? The one with the title. Who is the informal leader? The one everyone actually looks to for approval. Who are the lieutenants? Who is the scapegoat at the bottom? You are looking for the values of the hierarchy. Every hierarchy rewards something different. In a sales team, it's revenue. In a street gang, it's violence. In a university, it's credentials. In a creative agency, it's coolness. If you try to dominate using the wrong value system, you will fail. While you are observing, you must maintain condition yellow. You are polite, professional, and slightly aloof. You do not give away your power by seeking approval. You do not laugh at every joke. You do not overshare your history. You remain a high-value mystery. This forces the others to orient toward you. They wonder, who is this guy? Why isn't he trying to impress us? Is he a threat or is he an ally? By remaining silent and observant, you are already signaling a higher rank than the desperate nice guy who is trying to be everyone's friend. Step 2, the proof of competence, establishing value. A hierarchy is sustained by the value its members provide. To climb, you must become indispensable. You find a gap in the hierarchy, something the group needs but isn't getting. Maybe it's a technical skill, maybe it's a connection, maybe it's just the willingness to do a hard task that everyone else is avoiding. You fill that gap with extreme competence. You don't talk about it, you just do it. You want the group to realize everything works better when this guy's around. This is the Trojan horse strategy. Your competence is the horse that gets you through the gates. At this stage, you're not challenging the leader, you're supporting the leader. You become the right hand. You make the alpha look good. Why? Because the alpha will then use his status to pull you up. He becomes your sponsor. This is the fastest way to move from the middle to the top. But you must be careful. You are building your own power base while you serve. You are making the people below you loyal to you because you are the one actually solving their problems. You are becoming the hidden engine of the machine. Step 3, the strategic descent, the shift. Once you are established as high value and indispensable, you must signal that you are not a follower. You do this through strategic descent. You wait for a moment where the current leadership is making a mistake that you can prove is a mistake. You do not challenge them emotionally. You challenge them factually. I understand the plan, but the data shows it will fail. Here is the alternative. This is a test of your frame control. If you are right, and you stand your ground without being aggressive, the hierarchy undergoes a phase shift. The others see that you are not afraid of the alpha. They see that your loyalty is to the truth, competence, not to the person, tyranny. The informal power begins to flow from the alpha to you. People start coming to you for the final decision. They start checking your reaction before they agree with the boss. You are now the de facto leader. You haven't had a fight. You haven't made a scene. You have simply demonstrated that your map of reality is more accurate than the leaders. In the dominance hierarchy, the one with the most accurate map wins. Step 4. The assumption of command, the coronation. Now the final move. You do not take the throne, you assume it. You act as if you are already in charge. You set the pace. You define the goals. You reward and punish behavior because you have already built the loyalty of the lower ranks. Step 2. And proven your superiority. Step 3. The transition is natural. The old alpha either accepts a secondary role, the elder, or he leaves the group. You are now the silverback. And as the silverback, your job changes again. You cannot remain the competent specialist. You must become the system architect. You must protect the hierarchy from external threats and internal decay. You must maintain the standard of excellence. This is the level where the $260 protocol becomes your most powerful asset. It allows you to build a hierarchy that is not dependent on your physical presence. It allows you to build a digital dynasty where the systems enforce the rank. You are no longer climbing someone else's ladder. You have built your own, and you are sitting at the top, watching the world from the clouds. Let's talk about the silverback psychology. The silverback gorilla doesn't spend his day beating his chest and screaming. He spends his day eating, sleeping, and watching. He only becomes violent when the safety of the troop is threatened or when a young male makes a direct disrespectful challenge. This is low-energy dominance. The most powerful man in the room is usually the one moving the least. Stillness is a signal of zero predatory threat and zero fear. If you are twitching, checking your phone, and adjusting your tie, you are signaling that you are afraid of the environment. The silverback owns the environment. When you speak with downward inflection, as we discussed in the conflict module. You don't ask if people agree, you state the reality. And if someone disagrees, you don't get angry, you get curious. Interesting. Why do you think that? By staying calm, you force the challenger to escalate. If he escalates, he looks emotional and low status. If he doesn't, he submits to your frame. It is a win-win for you. We must address the crab in a bucket syndrome. As you climb, the people you are leaving behind will try to pull you back down. Who do you think you are? Don't forget where you came from. You've changed. These are status tests. They are trying to trigger your guilt, a low-status emotion, to force you back into the nice guy role. If you cave to the guilt, you slide back down the ladder. You must realize that their anger is not about you. It's about their own fear of being left behind. Your success is a mirror that shows them their own failure. The apex predator does not feel guilty for winning. He understands that by climbing, he is creating a path. He can help the people below him, but only if they are willing to climb too. He does not go back down into the bucket. He reaches down and offers a hand. If they don't take it, he continues upward. You cannot save people who are in love with their own chains. Let's look at the hierarchy of value in the digital age. In 2026, the ladder has changed. The old ladders, years of service, seniority, corporate loyalty, are broken. The new ladder is built on attention and result. Can you capture the world's attention? Can you deliver a result that people will pay for? If you can jump 10 levels on the social ladder in 1 year. This is status liquidity. A kid with a laptop and a high-status signal, content product, can have more influence and more serotonin than a 50-year-old middle manager who spent 30 years climbing. The middle manager is playing the 20th century game. He is a dinosaur. You are playing the 21st century game. You are the asteroid. But to play this game, you must be willing to be visible. Status is a social construct. If no one sees you, you have no status. This is why self-promotion is a biological necessity. The nice guy thinks self-promotion is cringe. The apex knows that if he doesn't signal his value, the world will assume he has none. He signals with his results, his aesthetic, and his speech. He marks his territory in the digital savannah. Finally, we must talk about the burden of the top. Climbing the ladder is not just about the view, it's about the responsibility. When you're at the top, everyone's problems are your problems. If the business fails, it's your fault. If the team is unhappy, it's your fault. This is the heavy head of the king. Many men get to the top and realize they can't handle the pressure. They self-sabotage to get back to the middle where it's safe. They start drinking, they make stupid mistakes, they get into scandals. This is the brain trying to lower its own status to reduce the stress. To stay at the top, you must build stress resilience, hormesis, as we discussed in the previous module. You must be comfortable with the weight of the world. You must enjoy the fact that the buck stops here. If you don't love the responsibility, you will never keep the rank. So look at your current group. Are you the one solving the problems? Or are you the one complaining? Are you the one making the alpha look good? Or are you the one trying to steal his light? Are you building your own ladder? Or are you begging for a spot on someone else's? The ladder is waiting. The serotonin is ready to flow. But you have to take the first step. And that step is the decision that I belong at the top. If you don't believe you belong there, no one else will. Convince your own biology first. Stand tall, speak slow, and start the siege. In the next part, we are going to dive into the status hacking. Specific tricks for high status communication. How to use eye contact, touch, and space to dominate a room without saying a word. We will give you the alpha body language manual, the strategy strategy is set. Now we master the tactics. We have built the strategic foundation of the hierarchy. You understand the 4 steps of the siege. Now we must master the micro-signals. Status is not just a title on a business card. Status is a physical frequency. Humans are primates. Before we developed language, we spent millions of years communicating rank through movement, eye contact, and spatial positioning. That ancient primate brain is still alive inside every person you meet. It is constantly scanning you, looking for clues to your rank. If your words say, "I am a leader," but your body says, "I am prey," the other person's brain will believe your body every single time. You can have the best business plan in the world, but if you pitch it with low-status body language, you will not get the investment. You can have the best intentions, but if you move like a subordinate, you will not get the respect. We are going to hack the system. We are going to teach you how to signal high rank so effectively that people's serotonin levels will actually shift just by being in your presence. This is non-verbal domination. Let's start with the eyes. In the animal kingdom, eye contact is a challenge. If 2 strange dogs meet, the one who looks away first is the submissive one. Humans are the same, but with more nuance. The status gaze versus the appeasement gaze. Low-status men perform quick glances. They look at someone, and the moment the other person looks back, they jerk their eyes away. This signals, "I'm checking to see if you are a threat, and I'm signaling that I'm not a threat to you." It is the behavior of a nervous rabbit. High-status men perform steady gazes. When you look at someone, you hold it. You don't stare them down like a psychopath, but you do not flick your eyes away. You are the one who decides when the eye contact ends. Rule of thumb, the 3-second hold. When you meet someone's eyes, hold for 3 seconds before looking away slowly to the side, never down. Looking down is a universal signal of submission. The assessment look. Instead of looking at people with a "please like me" expression, look at them like you are an inspector checking a piece of equipment. You are the one doing the judging. This shifts the frame of the interaction. You are the prize. They are the candidate. Now, let's talk about the physics of stillness. The most powerful signal of high rank is the absence of movement. Low-status individuals are hyperactive. They fidget. They tap their feet. They adjust their glasses. They touch their face. This is called self-soothing behavior. It is the brain trying to calm the nervous system because it feels exposed in a high-pressure environment. Every time you touch your neck, you are signaling to the world, "I'm feeling threatened and I'm trying to protect my carotid artery." Every time you fidget with your pen, you are signaling, "I have too much nervous energy and I can't contain it." The apex predator is still. When he sits like a statue. When he speaks, he doesn't use his hands in frantic small gestures. He uses slow, controlled movements or no movements at all. Stillness communicates, "I'm so confident in my position that I do not need to be on guard. I'm not afraid of being a target." Practice the 5-minute freeze. Sit in a chair and do not move a single muscle for 5 minutes. Not a finger, not a toe. This trains your prefrontal cortex to override the fidget impulses of the lower brain. When you walk into a room, do not rush. Walk at 80% of your normal speed. Rushing signals that you are an underling responding to someone else's schedule. Moving slowly signals that the world moves on your schedule. Let's analyze spatial dominance. Hierarchy is a game of territory. The king sits on a throne that is larger than the other chairs. He occupies the center of the room. Low-status men try to be small. They keep their elbows tucked in. They cross their legs tightly. They take up as little space as possible so as not to offend anyone. High-status men expand. When you sit, spread your arms on the back of the chair. Spread your legs. Claim the space around you. In a meeting, put your notebook or your phone out in front of you, expanding your desktop territory. This is not about being rude. It is about signaling ownership of the environment. Technique. The doorway pause. When you enter a room, do not walk straight in. Stop in the doorway for 2 seconds. Look around. Scan the room. Let people see you. By pausing, you force the room to acknowledge your entrance. You are taking the floor before you even speak. The man who rushes in and heads straight for a corner is a mouse. The man who pauses in the doorway is a lion. We need to discuss status-based touch. Touch is the most intimate form of hierarchy signaling. In any interaction, the person who initiates the touch is almost always the higher-ranking individual. The CEO pats the manager on the back. The manager does not pat the CEO on the back. The nice guy is afraid to touch anyone. He is afraid of offending or creeping people out. The apex uses strategic touch to anchor his status. A firm handshake is the baseline, but the high-status add-on is the double-handed shake or the elbow touch. By placing your left hand on their elbow or shoulder while shaking hands, you are signaling, "I am the one providing the warmth and the approval here." You are taking the senior role. Use this sparingly and only when appropriate, but understand that he who touches leads. If someone tries to power touch you, like putting a hand on your shoulder to belittle you, do not let it slide. Move your body so their hand falls off, or better yet, mirror the touch immediately. Neutralize the rank. Let's talk about the dominant mouth. Speech hacks. We talked about tonality in the conflict module, but status speech has its own rules. The volume trap. Low status men think being loud means being dominant. It doesn't. Being loud often signals a desperate need for attention. True status is economy of language. The man who speaks the least is often the most powerful. He doesn't explain himself. He doesn't fill the air. When you ask a high status man a question, he might wait 3 seconds before answering. That 3-second silence is a status test. He is seeing if you will get nervous and start talking to fill the gap. Technique. The power pause. Before you say the most important part of your sentence, stop. Wait for the room to become silent and then speak softly. This forces people to lean in. It signals that what you have to say is so valuable that you don't need to shout to be heard. Also, eliminate filler words. Like ah. These are verbal fidgets. They signal that your brain is lagging behind your mouth. Silence is better than a filler. If you don't know what to say nothing until you do. We must address the status aesthetic, the uniform. Whether we like it or not, people judge the book by its cover. Your clothing is your standard. It tells the world which hierarchy you belong to and what your rank is within it. You don't need to wear a $5,000 suit, but you must wear a signal of competence. Your clothes should be clean, well-fitted, and appropriate for the top of your specific niche. If you are a tech founder, the suit is a hoodie and clean sneakers, but it's a high-quality hoodie. If you are in finance, it's the tailored shirt. The key is alignment. If you look like a mess, people assume your mind is a mess. If you look sharp, people assume you have high attention to detail. The Protocol 260 teaches you how to build the systems of a professional, but your physical appearance is the front end of that system. If the front end looks broken, no one will check the back end. Invest in your aesthetic armor. Let's analyze the reaction test. High-status men are reactive neutral. If someone makes a joke at your expense or something goes wrong, how do you react? If you laugh too hard or get angry or start explaining, you have lost your rank. You have been moved by the other person. The apex predator is unmoved. He might raise an eyebrow. He might give a small, knowing smile. He might say, interesting, but he does not explode. He is like a heavy mountain. The wind blows, the rain falls, but the mountain stays exactly where it is. This impenetrability is terrifying to lower status people. They can't find your buttons. They can't manipulate you. By being the least reactive person in the room, you naturally become the most powerful. You are the anchor that everyone else is tethered to. Finally, we must talk about the pre-selection of status. The easiest way to be high status in a room is to have high status outside the room. Status is cumulative. If you have a large following, a successful business, or a powerful network, you carry that social proof with you like an aura. This is why building your digital territory is so important. When someone Googles you before a meeting and sees that you are an authority in your field, the hierarchy is already established before you walk through the door. They have already oriented toward you as a superior. The battle for rank is won in the preparation. Don't just try to act high status. Become high status. Build the assets. Master the skills. Accumulate the wins. Your body language will naturally follow your reality. But until your reality catches up to your ambition, use these hacks to prime the pump, stand like a king, speak like a king, and the world will start to treat you like one. So your homework for this part: tomorrow, go to a public place, a mall, a park, a cafe. Practice spatial dominance and stillness. Claim your chair. Do not fidget. Hold your gaze for 3 seconds with strangers. Observe the serotonin shift in the people around you. Watch how they give you more space. Watch how they lower their voices when they walk past you. You are testing your power frequency. Turn the dial up and see who flinches. You have climbed the ladder. You have mastered the microsignals, navigated the 4 steps of the siege, and hacked your own serotonin. You are sitting at the top. Now comes the hardest part of the game: staying there. The hierarchy is a living, breathing organism, and like any organism, it has an immune system. When you reach the top, you become the most visible target in the environment. Every beta looking for a shortcut to status is now looking at you. Every rival is analyzing your weaknesses. Most men reach the top and get vertigo. They get comfortable. They start to believe their own hype. They stop hunting. And that is exactly when the ladder breaks. To maintain your rank, you must understand the maintenance of power. It is not enough to be the strongest. You must be the most resilient. We are going to install the Sovereign Ruler Protocol. We are going to teach you how to manage the rebellion of the mid-ranks, how to avoid the tyrant's trap, and how to ensure your status is not a temporary win, but a permanent legacy. Step 1. Managing the beta insurrection. In any hierarchy, there are those who follow you out of respect and those who follow you out of fear. The ones who follow you out of fear are always waiting for a moment of weakness. They are the status snakes. They don't want to provide more value than you. They want to wait until you trip and then pull you down. How do you handle them? Never let a small disrespect slide. In a hierarchy, microaggressions are status tests. If a subordinate makes a snarky comment and you laugh it off to be a cool boss, you have just signaled that your boundaries are soft. You have invited the next larger disrespect. You must address the small rot immediately. You don't need to scream. You use the FM DJ voice and the steady gaze. That comment was inappropriate. Don't do it again. Then, you go back to business. By nipping it in the bud, you show the rest of the troop that the silverback is awake. You prevent the coup by making the cost of rebellion too high. Step 2. Avoiding the tyrant's trap. There is a temptation at the top to become a tyrant, to stop providing value and start using force to stay in power. This is a biological dead end. Tyranny is expensive. It requires 100% of your energy to suppress everyone below you. Eventually, you get tired. And when the tyrant sleeps, he gets a knife in the back. The apex predator practices benevolent dominance. He makes the people below him richer, stronger, and safer. If being in your hierarchy makes their lives better, they will fight to keep you at the top. You become the source of resources. This is why my protocol 260 is a tool for leaders. It gives you the systems to create such massive value that your subordinates, your team, your family, your partners see you as a godsend. They don't want to replace you because they don't know how to run the engine you built. You secure your rank by being the most competent node in the network. If the system collapses without you, you are the king. If the system runs fine without you, you are just a figurehead waiting to be replaced. Be the engine. Step 3. The succession strategy. The greatest sign of a high-status male is his ability to create other high-status males. The weak leader is afraid of strong subordinates. He tries to keep them small so they don't challenge him. This creates a weak hierarchy that gets crushed by external competitors. The strong leader, the apex, hunts for talent. He mentors. He builds. He creates a council of kings. By surrounding yourself with high-value men who owe their success to your guidance, you create a layer of biological armor. They protect your rank because your rank protects theirs. This is how dynasties are built. You move from individual dominance to institutional dominance. You are no longer just a man on a ladder. You are the founding father of the ladder itself. Step 4. The perpetual hunt. The moment you think you have made it, you have lost. The dominance hierarchy is a dynamic system. There is always a younger, hungrier predator entering the bottom of the ladder. He is lifting heavier, working longer, and taking more risks than you are. To stay at the top, you must remain the chief hunter. You must never lose your edge. This is where hormesis, our previous module, becomes your best friend. You must continue to seek discomfort. If you have $1 million, you still take the cold shower. If you have the big office, you still do the hardest tasks. You must prove to your own biology and to the group that you haven't become soft. If the troop sees the silverback get fat and lazy, they will challenge him. If they see him leading the hunt every morning, they will follow him forever. Dominance is a daily subscription. The bill is due every morning when your eyes open. If you don't pay the bill with work and discipline, your rank expires. The serotonin feedback of the sovereign. When you live at the top of a hierarchy for a long time, your brain actually changes. Your baseline serotonin remains high. This makes you stress resistant. Things that would destroy a low-status man, a lawsuit, a public scandal, a financial loss, barely move the needle for you. You have perspective. You understand that the ladder is long and you have the muscle memory of the climb. Even if you are knocked down to level 1, you don't panic because you know exactly how to get back to level 10. This lack of fear is the ultimate signal of the apex. People look at you and think, why isn't he panicking? He must have a plan. He must be more powerful than we realized. Your calm becomes a force multiplier. It attracts investors, it attracts women, and it attracts allies. High serotonin is the aura of the victor, the shadow of the hierarchy. We must address the dark side, social isolation. The higher you go, the lonelier it gets. You cannot be one of the boys and the king at the same time. There is a distance that must be maintained. If you get too close to the omegas, you lose your authority. If you get too distant, you lose your intel. You must live in the golden mean. You are accessible, but you are not common. You are the one who listens, but you are the last one who speaks. This isolation is the tax of the top. Accept it. Do not look for friendship at the top. Look for loyalty. Friendship is for equals. Loyalty is for the hierarchy. Find your friends in other hierarchies, among other kings. This is why alphas seek out other alphas, not to compete, but to finally be able to breathe the same air. The philosophy of the eternal climber. There is no top of the world. There is always a bigger fish. There is always a more powerful hierarchy. If you are the king of your town, go become the king of the city. If you are the king of the city, go become the king of the country. If you are the king of the country, go challenge the gods. The point of the dominance hierarchy is not to reach a destination and stop. The point is the process of becoming. The ladder is just a tool to force you to evolve. Every step you take, you shed a layer of your former, weaker self. You are burning the nice guy in the fire of ambition. You are birthing the apex predator. The serotonin is the reward for the struggle. The status is the reward for the value provided. The power is the reward for the responsibility taken. The final vision. Look at the people around you. Most of them are trapped in hierarchies they didn't choose, serving masters they don't respect, for rewards that don't satisfy. They are the walking dead of the social pyramid. You are different. You have the map. You have the tools. You have the biology. You are no longer a victim of the ladder. You are the architect of the ladder. From this day forward, you do not wait in line. You create the line. You do not ask for a seat. You build the table, and you never ever apologize for your height. The view from the top is only arrogant to those who were too afraid to climb. To those who did the work, it is simply the truth. Stand tall, fix your gaze, and keep climbing.